The dust seems to have settled after Palantir's earnings. We've got interesting potential catalysts actually while we're still sitting above $30 as of this recording that I wanted to just spew my thoughts on. And to set the stage, we are at an interesting point in Palantir's time as a publicly traded company as their market cap valuation reaches an all-time high. And note, the importance here is to distinguish the mechanics of them being a higher valued company in totality today, even if it's lower than their all-time high share price. And this is just due to the increase in their share float. But regardless, today Palantir is fundamentally a totally different company than back during their DPO, all the way back in 2020. Now, what caught my attention first is the institutional ownership of Palantir. The past few months has become more of an inching upwards each time over the months and has slowed down, at least from what has been recently seen. But a very big warning first, it's important to note this is based off delayed data as institutions disclose in their 13Fs, which is based on their holdings as of the previous quarter's close, so end of June. So whatever the quote-unquote smart money did happened a while back already at this point, and this is a retrospective look at what happened rather than what is happening this instant, especially as we've recently gone through earnings with the last weekly video. And we saw a slew of analysts with price targets increasing and not necessarily meaning their institutions are buying though in the investment arms, but obviously a more favorable look at it from their analysts make more sense to have some influence, at least sentiment-wise. But regardless, I don't see this as a deficit to Palantir today, but rather I see it still as a sleeping giant of untapped potential and demand for their shares in the future possibly. And maybe it's already happening as we speak with the current price action and different news items or certain disclosures. But this is speculation on my part, and the institutions will do as they please. There is no guarantee that they'll ever want to hop on in the near future. But when talking about institutional ownership too, we can't ignore the next potential catalyst that keeps coming around every quarter, S&P inclusion. Now, the next rebalance date is September 20th, but at the beginning of the month, they will announce which companies will be dropping off and added in. And it kind of goes hand in hand with institutional ownership because of the need to have ownership from those with the index fund products. Now, the one kind of X factor too, which is purely speculation, but I think is kind of like a qualitative plus for Palantir, is that CrowdStrike was added recently to the S&P. Now, the argument around their importance in the world and their business and stuff is up to the community. Now, getting a knock on them recently with the outage definitely strengthens at least the reputational case for Palantir, albeit they still have this low institutional ownership though. But it's just a fun tidbit that, over time, even if they miss this next quarter again, the momentum potentially just keeps building up for Palantir to be included down the line. And the big caveat here, too, is it's not required for Palantir to perform well as a company fundamentally with these two potential catalysts. Rather, these are more byproducts of them being already successful and being recognized as an industry leader and player. I mean, Microsoft literally called them an industry leader from their last earnings. So it's something to keep your eyes on for the radar of the next quarter. But what are your thoughts so below? And I'll see you in the next video.